With allopathy, the patient gets relief,
Yeah.
but not cure. I'll give you a simple example: motion sickness.
Huh.
I'll tell you another case. This is also another young girl. In the course of the interview, she told me that she was so depressed in life that she wanted to commit suicide. There cannot be a disease, DICAC, in the body without being some dis-ease in the mind.
Oh.
My belief in life is that there is something to learn from everyone, everything, and from every place you go to. And the same belief acts as a core for this channel and this podcast series, where we sit and chat with some of the most unique and interesting personalities from different backgrounds and get to learn and understand some of the most important values of life. डॉक्टर के पास तो हम सभी जाते हैं, whether it's for anything minor like a cough or a cold, or maybe something severe. But did you know that the modern medicine is designed in a way that you are never actually cured to the core so that you keep coming back? Well, it's best that you listen to it from today's guest so he'll explain to you what I'm talking about. Hope you enjoy this conversation and learn something from it that will enhance your overall life. Please welcome Dr. Milind Naik.
First of all, Dr. Milind Naik, welcome to this podcast. Welcome to our
Thank you
channel
so much.
for the first time ever. We had this podcast pending for so long and finally we have got the time to do it. So can you please explain in short what exactly is it that you do? Obviously, I have introduced you as a doctor.
I am a medical personnel. I have done my MBBS, which is in allopathy. Apart from that, I am deeply interested in other allied fields of medicine also,
Like?
like homeopathy, like yoga. Okay, and I am also a very spiritually inclined person.
Okay.
I have started meditation when I was in school. That is, I am doing meditation for about 50 years now.
Oh, amazing.
So, talking about allopathy, when I started my practice in 1990, about a year and a half down the line, I observed that allopathy does not have answer to all the questions which a patient asked me.
But what exactly is allopathy? If you can explain in short, because I, for, ever since I was a kid, I was very confused between what is allopathy, what is homeopathy, what is Ayurveda. So can you?
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you. Allopathy is a modern science which is based on proof, on research and development, and its forte is antimicrobial therapy. Whenever there is some infection in your body, if it is a bacteria or a parasite, you give some medicine to kill that bacteria or the parasite, and the patient becomes okay.
Okay.
Apart from this, all other treatment in allopathy is sort of palliative. Suppose there is blood pressure, they'll give you medicine that you have to take every day, which means you are not curing the disease, you are only suppressing it.
Okay.
Suppose there is diabetes, the same thing. You have to take medicines every day. Arthritis, you have to take painkillers. So allopathy does very well where there is infection and where intensive care is required. You know, when a person has an accident on the road, you don't give him a homeopathy as a rule. You can as an exception. There are conditions where you can give homeopathy in that condition also. But normally, you take him to an ICU setup,
Yeah.
start treatment, or there is a paralysis or there is a heart attack. In those cases, allopathy gives good results. But suppose there is angina, that is chest pain,
Okay.
and it is happening again and again, then what will you do? You are giving allopathy. With allopathy, the patient gets relief,
Yeah.
but not cure.
For the time being, like you said, the pain is suppressed.
Suppressed. That's
It
all.
isn't cured from the roots.
It isn't.
So what do you do for that?
For that, you give homeopathy.
Oh.
Homeopathy gives rapid, permanent, and gentle cure. When a person recovers with homeopathy, most of the time he doesn't get that disease again.
Okay.
And there are diseases in which Homeopathy works beautifully. Allopathy has no solution at all.
Really?
Yeah. I'll give you a simple example. Motion sickness.
हाँ.
When you travel in a car, you feel nauseated. You
गाड़ी
start
लगते.
gadi lagte as you say in Hindi or in Marathi or gadi lagti hai in Hindi. What do? In allopathy, they'll give you some medicine that
Tablets.
will suppress the vomiting for 3-4 hours. Suppose you are having a long travel, say you are leaving in the morning and you are expected to reach the destination at night. You have to take it 3-4 times or 5 times, and many a times it doesn't work. Even after taking that medicine, people tend to vomit. This is seen mostly in children,
Yeah.
and it leaves them with no option.
Yeah.
I have got a case in which a relative of the patient told me, after the patient had recovered, that previously every time this girl came to any function, her clothes were always messed up with vomit.
Ah, it's not a good thing to happen.
And another thing that happens with allopathic medicine is it can also sedate you. It will make you drowsy.
So, would it be safe to say that allopathy is a synthetic approach and homeopathy is a much natural approach?
Yes.
Because I have these two beliefs. Whenever you have to cure something for short terms, you have to take the synthetic approach. But if you want to make it your lifestyle, then you have to take a much natural approach to it and give it time to happen. But now what you have said has really intrigued me. You said that homeopathy is rapid. How is it rapid? Can you explain? Because I always believe that if you want to cure the root cause and make it your lifestyle, you have to give it time and it has to be a part of your life for an extended amount of time, and then you can finally cure it. So what do you think is the difference, and why did you say that it is rapid, homeopathy
It is
especially?
rapid because the action is seen very fast. It is faster than allopathy in its action.
Okay.
It can give you results within 10 minutes.
Oh.
I've got a video, I can show it to you later on. This is a young girl. She'll be around 24 25. She is my son's colleague. She had a problem with the knee. She was doing martial arts or something. She got injured. She was not able to walk. She was wearing a support or something on your knee, and even with that, she was wobbling when she was walking. Okay, and she went to an orthopedician who did an X-ray, who gave her physiotherapy, and he could not give the diagnosis. Okay, that this patient tried this for about maybe a month or so, and then she came to me. I put 2 drops in her mouth, 2 drops of medicine, and within 5 minutes, she started shrieking that this is a miracle.
It's a miracle for me, seriously. I am shocked now.
I'll tell you another case. This is also another young girl. She'll be about 19 20. She's a college student. Okay. What happened with this girl was very tragic and unfortunate. Her mother died during her childbirth.
Oh.
Okay. I knew her mother when she was alive.
Okay.
I used to treat her then. Her grandparents also. This girl's grandparents. Now, these girls' grandparents took good care of her to the extent that they did all her education and all that, in spite of the fact that her father was not treating her well.
The
He didn't-
girl's father.
Girl's father. He didn't do anything for her. He just left her, and her grandparents were taking care of her. And one fine day, she came to me. See, for all these 19 years, she never came to me because she has shifted from where I practice to a distant place, maybe 5-7 kilometers from Airoli to Ghanswali. Her grandparents, her uncle, maternal uncle, that is Mama, they used to come to me. One fine day, they came to me and she said she has got a cough, cold, or something like that. And this is a minor complaint. But since I know homeopathy, I could make out from her face that she was in trouble. A 19-20 year old girl has to be bubbly, vivacious, talking spontaneously, and all that. She was not. She was silent. Her face was very sad and gloomy, and I was worried about her. I took her interview. You have to take an interview in homeopathy. It may take anything between 10 minutes to 1 hour or whatever. It took me about half an hour to do the interview. In the course of that interview, she told me that she was so depressed in life that she wanted to commit suicide.
And why was it?
It was because there was some quarrel in the family. After she was currently living with her mother, sister, or Mausi in Gansoli, and her grandparents lived in Airoli. Her mama also lived in Airoli. Okay, she was living in Airoli all along. A year or couple of years back, she shifted to Gansoli. This happened because after her mama got married, there was some trouble with the mommy and this girl. Okay. And it came to such an extent that their mama stopped talking with her. He didn't talk with her for 1 year. And she was very attached to her grandparents. Her grandparents, after her grandfather retired, they shifted to their native place, somewhere Sangli, Satara, or someplace. And she was alone here with the uncle and auntie, and they were not talking to her. So then she went and started living with her Mausi. What happened was her mother's younger sister, she got married and divorced. She was living alone in Gansoli. So her grandparents told her, since you people are not getting along, you might as well go and live with your Mausi and things will be better for you. She started living with her Mausi, but she missed her grandparents and the house in which she was brought up. And the fact, her mama did everything for her. Used to give her whatever she wants, whenever she wants, even sparing something for his own family, used to give something to her. And this break in relationship hurt her so much that she was contemplating suicide. And added to this was the fact that her grandparents had shifted to their native place. Her grandparents were like mother and father to her. Because her father was not caring for her and her mother had expired.
So how did you help her?
I gave her homeopathic medicine and she is absolutely fine. It is maybe more than 6 months since then. I have got the reviews, the feedback on WhatsApp. I can show it to you.
But so from the case that you just told me, what I observed is the problem was psychological.
Exactly.
So how did you treat it with medicine? Because my experience with medicine, like for example, हम कब जाते हैं डॉक्टर के पास? Whenever we are suffering with cold, headaches, or whatever, some injuries, something like that. So my experience with medicine is that medicine helps you physically. In the case that you just mentioned, it seems that medicine helped her psychologically.
Exactly.
And mentally. So how is that possible?
So to understand this, you have to understand the fact that there cannot be a disease, DISEAC, in the body without being some dis-ease in the mind. Every disease in the body has some dis-ease in the mind.
Every disease.
Every 100%. I'll go to the extent that even accidents have some problem. Those who suffer from accidents have some problem in the mind.
Achha.
Nothing happens by chance. You meet with an accident 99% of the times when you are in the wrong. 1% it happens that somebody in front of you is drunk and he comes and hits you. But if you believe in energy, if you believe in the Almighty, you must believe in the fact that when somebody is hitting you without there being any fault of yours, you are drawing negative energy. There is some negative energy inside you which kills you. So it may be your karma.
So even the smallest things like cough and cold.
Yes. Even you cannot have a disease in the body when there is no dis-ease in the mind. And next to that, I'll tell you, everybody has some dis-ease in the mind. For some reason or the other.
That's true. So how does homeopathy help this?
Homeopathy helps you in accepting the situation.
Okay.
See, what are the common areas of stress? The commonest area of stress, which feeds us, which gives us our bread and butter, is
Work.
is fight between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
The second area of stress is finance.
Yeah.
People are high flying nowadays. They want big brands,
Hmm.
big cars, big music system, big cameras. They don't have the means to afford it.
Hmm.
They go for high cost EMI, high interest, and that puts the stress on them.
Yeah.
Before they get their salary, 80% of it goes in EMIs.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
This is a cause of cancer. These are things that give you disease.
Hmm.
Stress between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, stress between employee and a person working under them,
Yeah.
stress between neighbors,
Relationships mainly.
relationship, finance.
Wealth. Hmm. Hmm.
These
Hmm.
things make you uncomfortable in your mind.
So is that the reason why the youth is so depressed nowadays?
It
Because
is
obviously the case that you mentioned, she had her personal reasons. But we can all argue that everybody has their personal reasons, and as a matter of fact, every person right now feels that they are depressed and the god is doing something wrong with them. But is that the reason why they feel depressed and so low all the time, is because they are chasing the standards that they shouldn't chase,
absolutely.
or they
This is
are very focused on the facts that don't really matter in the long run?
yeah. They don't matter in the long run, and then this brings me to another topic that is very close to my heart. That is yoga.
Hmm.
Yoga. When people talk about yoga, they think it is about asanas,
Hmm.
doing sirsasana, standing on their head and all that, and padmasana and staying in that position for long. Asanas is just one part of yoga. Yoga, as described by Patanjali, is known as Ashtanga Yoga.
What is Patanjali? Can you explain? Because I have only
Patanjali was
heard it as a brand.
Patanjali. No, see, this Patanjali is a brand. The original Patanjali is the one who propounded yoga. He was a saint who propounded
Okay,
yoga.
okay, okay.
So, yoga is a way of life.
Hmm.
Okay, we'll come to the point that you asked about
Yeah.
in this way so that people understand this. Yoga is a way of life as described by Patanjali. It is known as Ashtanga Yoga.
Hmm.
Five of them refer to your body. Out of the Ashtanga, 8 parts, five refer to your body, three refer to your mind.
Right.
The first 5 parts make you fit for the next 3 parts. 3 parts.
Okay.
Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar.
Okay.
These are known as Bhairang Sadhana,
Hmm.
meant for the body.
Can you
And
explain what all of these are?
yeah, then the other three are known as Antarang Sadhana, that is Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi.
Samadhi. Okay.
If you do the first 5,
Hmm.
you become fit enough to do the next 3.
Oh, right.
So, Yama is how to live with yourself.
Okay.
Niyama is how to live in society.
Okay.
Then there is
I thought
Asana.
it was discipline.
Yeah, yoga is about discipline, 100% discipline in the body and mind.
The niyam you mentioned, I thought it was discipline.
No, no, no.
It's how to live in a society.
How to live in a society.
Okay. Hmm.
In that again, there are subparts.
Yeah.
In Yama, they'll teach you Satya, Ahimsa, Asteya, Aparigraha,
Yeah, you
Brahma.
can dive deep into it.
So, the first, the very basic tenet of yoga is Satya.
Satya.
Yeah, just to deviate a little, depending on these two tenets, Satya and Ahimsa,
Hmm.
Mahatma Gandhi tackled the British.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
He came to this idea from yoga.
Okay.
Satya is a very important part of yoga because it is the first thing that people transgress. They break this rule first thing in the morning. They get a call. They don't want to attend the call. They either tell I am outside, or I am stuck in a traffic, or I am a meeting. So what happens is your conscious self is aware that you are telling lies,
Right.
and you generate negative energy around you.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, what basically yoga teaches you is discipline in the body and the mind.
Right.
So, if you are disciplined in your body and your mind, you give positive energy to the environment.
Hmm.
This is a very deep topic. you cannot discuss in one podcast or 1.5 hours or anything like that, because I have done yoga from Ambika Yoga Kutir in Thane, which is which was started by Nikam Guruji, Padma Shri Nikam Guruji. It's a charitable institute. They used to charge 10 rupees for a 3-month course. They might still be charging, or it may be 20 rupees, it's not beyond that. But that teaches you discipline.
Right.
They used to tell at the yoga center that there are trees everywhere and there will be cyclones. When there is a cyclone, only the strong tree can survive the cyclone. The weak tree will fall down. That strength has to come from your mind,
Right.
not your body. Yoga strengthens your mind, and since the mind controls the body, your body is also strong.
Right. So that's why you mentioned yoga as a part of the medicine.
Yeah. So if you are doing yoga, yoga is basically preventive medicine.
Right.
Those who do yoga don't fall sick. At least not very frequently.
Yeah.
Because they are strong in their mind, they can tackle the vagaries of life, the stress, the psychological stress, in a more mature way. Suppose Kama, Krodha, Mada, Lobha, Moha, these things are there. These are Panchaklesh, 5 very bad things in life. If you learn to be forgetful, forgiving, if you learn to be, if you learn to have gratitude towards Almighty, if you don't quarrel, you are normally happy in life.
Yeah.
If you are happy in life, there is no dis-ease in the mind. You won't fall sick.
But how can we be happy?
So that is, you have to do yoga, you have to take homeopathy.
Okay.
If you have to do yoga as a preventive medicine, you have to take homeopathy for treatment. Whenever your stress is so much that with yoga you are not able to tackle it, you can take homeopathy. Actually, I am a member of a fraternity called HHF, Animanian Homeo Forum, of which I am a founder member. We started this about 34 years back, in which when we started there were 4 members. Now there are more than 40,000.
Amazing. You were explaining about those Ashtanga. So can you dive deep into it a little bit? So it was Yam, Niyam, and then
Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar.
What are all those? Can you explain it in a brief?
Niyam is that Yam is how to live with yourself. Satya, you have to Ahimsa. Again, Ahimsa is of 3 types. It is Sharirik, Mansik, Adhyatmik. The higher you go in yoga, the Sharirik Ahimsa goes, then the Mansik Ahimsa goes, and then the Adhyatmik Ahimsa goes.
What is Adhyatmik Ahimsa?
Adhyatmik Ahimsa is this Kama, Krodha, Mada, Lobha, Moha. When somebody says somebody has parked his car in your parking slot, you get angry. Or when somebody just crosses you on the street when you are in the proper lane, he comes from some other lane, you get angry. These things, don't affect you if you are doing yoga.
Really?
Yeah.
And have you experienced this?
See, I have done yoga, but I'll tell you very honestly, I have not practiced it for some time because I love food. I love eating. When I used to do yoga, I used to do these things. Now, because I've done yoga for maybe 10-15 years of my life, I'm relatively healthy, though I'm 63 years old. I don't take any medicines and all that, but these things help you. They definitely help you.
So when you say you love food and that's why you don't do yoga,
The two don't go together.
Sorry, yeah, because that falls into that moho category, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, so what they say is, one who eats once a day is a yogi. The one who eats twice a day is a bhogi. One who eats thrice a day is a rogi.
In which category do you fall?
I am a rogi, no doubt in that category. But since I take homeopathy and I do meditation, I am relatively healthy. Because our Shastras, they only talk about do vakt ki roti. They never talk about 3 vakt ki roti, 4 vakt ki roti. You have breakfast, you have lunch, you have evening snacks, you have dinner. And this is one of the reasons why there is a lot of disease nowadays. Even this is transgressed. They have food 5 or 6 times a day. People go out at 10 o'clock, come back at 2 o'clock, And what they do, you have between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, they have liquor, they have fast food, and next day morning they have a headache and they have acidity. This lifestyle is changing. This makes people more prone to disease.
Right. So what I'm learning from this is you can't just be fit with any one sort of medicine.
That's
Be
right.
it homeopathy, be it allopathy, be it yoga, you have to first conquer your own self.
That's
Like
right.
defeat these 5 enemies, like you said. So there's one movie called Seven. You can watch it if you want. It's on, obviously it's not on the Hindu tradition. It's not about yoga, but in this movie they mention the 7 sins. So these are the same sins, obviously greed.
All religions are basically the same.
Yeah. All the beliefs are the same across all religions. So when did you decide to get into this line and choose medicine as your main profession and then do practice yoga and learn yoga as well? And what was the reason behind it mainly?
When I was in school, I was interested in biology.
Okay.
I was not interested in maths. I was very poor at maths. So that left me with the option of medicine. I gave the entrance exam, got admission. I was fortunate enough to do that. And then, as I told you before, when I started my practice, within 1.5 years of my practice, I realized that allopathy is not the solution.
So you started with allopathy.
I started allopathy. Even I do allopathy even now.
Okay.
When see, my homeopathy consultation is above 5,000 rupees.
Okay.
Allopathy consultation is 250 rupees.
Hmm.
Not everybody can afford it, and not everybody will be willing to pay that much, even if he is affords every time.
Hmm.
You get the
So yeah. So how you said you realized that allopathy wasn't the solution in 1.5 years. What happened during that time that you realized that it isn't the solution and you should move towards homeopathy as your main belief or as your the main practice?
What happened was, people come to you for cough cold. You give them antibiotics. Then next time they get it, you have to raise the antibiotic.
Okay.
Then otherwise they go to some other doctor who raises the antibiotic, and still the child doesn't become okay. Then they go to some third doctor, and then after some time they come back to you. And when they come back to you, you read their case papers. You find that they have exhausted all the antibiotics. There is nothing to be done. But the child is not okay.
Oh.
What happens is, in these children, it is the result of present day life. Both parents are working. They are leaving the child at a crèche where the upkeep is not good. The child becomes cranky. It misses his parents, and the mental stress makes the child sick.
Okay.
You can treat the cold or cough or the bacteria with antibiotics. You cannot treat the stress and the irritability the child is feeling because of the absence of the parents with any medicine except homeopathy.
So in homeopathy you counsel all this?
We don't counsel.
Okay. So how do you
The
make the
medicine
patients aware about this?
medicine makes the person more adaptable to the circumstances.
Okay.
It changes the wavelengths of the energy that the patient is giving from negative to positive. Yoga and homeopathy are both sciences of energy, just as spiritualism is.
Right. So my question to you is why isn't homeopathy and yoga promoted that much through mainstream media or through the mainstream channels of medicine? Because as we all know, whenever you face some sort of problems, some small problems, like almost all of my relatives now have some kind of long term diseases, either diabetes, either blood pressure, and each doctor that they visit, they'll just give you, take this, you have to take this for the rest of your life, after lunch, after dinner, you take this after breakfast. So why isn't homeopathy and yoga widely practiced, and if not practiced, at least like you are making me aware right now how homeopathy makes you more adaptable to the situation, why isn't this propaganda pushed further and you know to make more people aware about what exactly is homeopathy and how it is more helpful than allopathy?
See, this is the motivation of my life now. I am 63 years old. I have more or less retired from practice. I work to the minimum. The motivation of my life is to teach and preach homeopathy,
Okay.
so that more and more people are attracted to it, more and more people accept homeopathy, and that is why we are, apart from running HHF, which is a non-profit organization which teaches homeopathy all over India now. We have got branches all over India. I also run post-graduation courses in homeopathy. We have an academy. It is known as HHF Academy and Research Institute. It has its headquarters in Nashik, where we have got our institute. We are teaching MUHS recognized post graduation courses in homeopathy, and the person who does the person who is admitted as a student has to be a BHMS, a person
BHMS is? Can you please?
bachelor in homeopathic medical science.
Okay.
And then in the 1 year course that we teach them, they become so proficient in homeopathy that they can tackle or treat any disease, right from common cold to cancer to autoimmune disorders to heart attacks. They become so proficient in that.
Right.
That is the second part of your question. The first part of your question was why homeopathy is not very popular, why yoga is not very popular. This is because of commerce. It's plain and simple commerce. If I treat a person with homeopathy, if I do it properly, and it has happened many times, I will not see him again for 5 years.
Okay. So
Because
you lose the customer.
You lose the customer, the medicine shop loses money, the medicine manufacturer loses money, because patients are not coming back. No?
Yeah.
It's just the opposite to allopathy. Allopathy, you are not treating the mind, you are treating the body. You suppress the pain, you suppress you kill the bacteria, you cannot kill virus. Killing virus is very difficult. That is because COVID was so rampant. Allopathy is weak against viruses. Okay, so there is no commerce in it. There is no promotion. Homeopathic laboratories, companies which manufacture homeopathic medicine, they don't give you any freebies. They don't give any gifts. Okay, like it happens with allopathy. Allopathy, I think I would better not delve into that.
So how did you manage when you decided to shift from allopathy to homeopathy? How did you manage the finances? Because obviously you are doing it as a profession as well. So how did you find the balance between those two things?
I can tell you how I learned that system.
Yeah.
And why I learned it. That is also another story. When I was doing my MBBS, this was around, I did my MBBS from 81 to 85. At that time, my maternal grandfather was very close to me. I mean, I was his very favorite sort of person, and he was a big man. He was an income tax consultant in Pune to all the big industrialists over there.
Okay.
Kirloskar, Garware, Kalyani, and he was an extremely rich person. He used to live in a 10,000 square foot bungalow. He had the first Mercedes in Pune.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he used to give it to me whenever and wherever I want to go, take it and go. He was that close to me. And when I was doing my MBBS, he used to tell me, "You listen to me. You have got admission into MBBS. That is very good, but simultaneously you learn homeopathy." And then what happens, I was that time 19, 20 years old, and I cleared the entrance exam, got admission into MBBS, and you feel that ego, that pride, and you look upon homeopathy as an inferior science.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what it is. Homeopathy, I am doing allopathy, I am an allopath. Why should I go to homeopathy? If you wanted to go to homeopathy, I would have done it with lesser marks in CET. Then grandfather used to tell me, "You listen to me, I am a well-wisher of yours, you do this." And then what happened, when I was in 4th year and surgery was just starting, he had gallstones, my grandfather.
Sorry?
Gallbladder stones. Stones in the gallbladder. And then he called me. He said, "What will you do?" At that time, he was around 80 years old. I said, "In allopathy, there is only one option. You have to operate." He said, 80-year-old man, you'll operate? And at that time, there was no scopy and all that. You have to open and remove.
Yeah.
He said, "You listen to me. You come with me." He took me to one Dr. Fatak. in Pune, who was a very, very famous homeopath. He has written books and all, which are still read in colleges and all that. And I went with him. I saw that he used to improve with that medicine, with whatever he used to give him. He used to be better. Until he died when he was 83 or 84, he never was operated. So when I started my practice, I sort of started thinking, see what he told me, he was a well-wisher of mine, should I go for it? And that way I was very fortunate, you know. When I started my practice in Airoli, everything used to be dark over there by 9 o'clock. And I used to close the clinic and go home. And what happened, I met one doctor called Sushil Sharma. He still practices in Kalwanaka. Yeah. And I asked him, see, I'm interested in homeopathy, can you please teach me? He said, yes, no problem. Then he told me, see, you are in Airoli, everything is dark in Airoli at 9 o'clock. I am at Kalwanaka. Kalwanaka is, I run my clinic at 10:30, 11. There are people around. You can come to me at 9 o'clock after you close your clinic. I'll teach you. For almost 2 years, every night I used to go to his clinic. He used to open the books and teach me one by one from the books for 1.5 hours. And he was such a great person, you know. Every day, he used to give me a fruit juice. There was Guptaji's fruit juice stall. Now it is no more there. Just opposite the clinic at Kalwanaka. Every day he used to give me a fruit juice. And if by chance I touch my pocket to pay, he used to tell me, get out. When you are at my clinic, you are my student, you are my guest, I'll pay for your fruit juice. And in those 2 years, I had unlimited fruit juice and I never paid for it. He was such a great, he's still there, he's still practicing.
So learning homeopathy came with its perks.
After about a couple of years, he told me that I have given you all that I have. I have nothing more to teach you. But I'll take you to a person who is even more competent than me. He took me to Dr. Milind Rao. Milind Rao was a famous homeopath. He is an international figure now. He expired in 2016, unfortunately. But he was the one who formed HHF,
Okay.
Hahnemann Homeo Forum. And we started with 4 or 5 doctors who used to come and sit with us and study medicine. We went to a bigger place, there were 20 doctors, then 200 doctors, then 2000 doctors. Now there are 50,000 or more doctors all over India. We have got about 40 branches in Maharashtra.
Amazing.
Thane, New Bombay, Pune, Jalgaon, Akola, Nagpur, Wardha, Chandrapur, Goa, and now we have got branches outside Maharashtra also. We have in Bihar, we have in Chhattisgarh, we have in Orissa, we have in Kolkata, Delhi, or Gujarat. It has become such a huge field, and that is what I told you. That is what drives me now. My only ambition in life is to teach and preach homeopathy, so that more and more people learn. More and more people are benefited from this course because it cures, it does not treat.
Yeah. So the urge to help people and the urge to cure people from their roots began with your grandfather, you would say.
Absolutely. He was a very spiritual person. He was the one who initiated me into meditation. And these are all very parallel things: homeopathy, yoga, spiritualism. They are all about raising your energy levels. When you are at a higher level of energy, you are healthy.
Yeah.
When your energy level goes down, you fall sick.
Right. So what would your recommendations be for a young person? Because in the recent years we have been hearing a lot of heart attack cases in young people, especially people who are in 20s and the 30s. So what would your suggestion, what would you tell them? And especially because you treat the problem from its roots, so what would you tell them is a better way to deal with stress and avoid these sort of sudden heart attacks and strokes or all of the serious problems that we see these days? What would you tell them how to deal with this in a better way
Dealing
and
with
how
it,
to avoid the risk, especially?
that is addressed in yoga.
Okay.
You have to lead a healthy lifestyle. You have to eat in moderation. You have to exercise regularly. You have to be exposed to sunlight. You have to breathe good air. You have to have an occasional holiday. These things will keep you healthy. And you have to have regular hours. You have to get up with sunrise. As far as possible, go to bed. Maybe and if not at sunset, it is not possible anymore. Maybe a couple of hours after that. You have to eat with sunrise, eat with sunset. I still do it.
Okay.
Don't eat after sunset. Whatever you eat after sunset, whatever you eat before sunset benefits you. Whatever you eat after sunset benefits your doctor.
Yeah, because I have also heard a lot of foreign fitness influencers say this, that if you're suffering with any minor problem like a cold or a cough or maybe a fever, don't go and see a normal doctor, because they are never going to help you. In fact, they'll just cure the surface. 2 weeks later, you're still back at his place. So, do you agree with this?
Yeah, I agree. This is 100% sure. 100% true. If you take these chemicals, they only suppress the disease, they don't cure it. What happens sometimes is that when you take these medicines, your body's immunity bounces up and then you get cured. It is not because of the medicine, it is because of your body.
Okay. So it catalyzes the original characteristic of our body and our
There
immune
are
system.
hormones in the body, dopamine, serotonin. If these are at a higher level, you don't fall sick.
Okay.
When these go at a lower level, when you are depressed, when you are irritable, when you are angry, when you are having revengeful thoughts in your mind, these dopamine, serotonin levels fall, and when they fall, your immunity falls, and you become prone to disease.
Right. And
This is
what are other hormones along with dopamine and serotonin?
these two are the important ones.
And
There are the
how does one keep these hormones up all the time or for the maximum times?
yoga and homeopathy.
But for a
The
normal person, if you had to put it, like, do these things, at least
Yeah,
do
putting
these
it
things.
very simply, you enjoy what you're doing. Try and control anger. Don't be revengeful. Have gratitude in your heart for what God has given you, irrespective of what situation you are in. He has given you a roof on your head. He has given you 2 square meals. Be happy with that. There are people who are not getting it. People who don't get 2 square meals. People who do not have a roof on their head, who are living on the footpath. If you look at life in a positive way, you will be happy.
But isn't this a cause of? I might deviate from the topic a little bit. But when you say that be grateful and be happy with what you have, doesn't this kill the hunger of, being successful in life and achieving new heights? Because I have heard a lot of people say that if you want to reduce your stress, you have to be happy with what you have. You have to enjoy. Although I agree with the part where you have to enjoy what you're doing, but when we say that be happy with what you have, doesn't this keep you limited to, not being successful at least the level of success that you have desired and you have envisioned for yourself?
That success is at the physical level and the mental level. They are two different things. You can have an Audi, you can have a Merc. These are physical,
Materialistic things.
materialistic
Yeah.
things, and this is a materialistic way of looking at things. Then there is a spiritual way of looking at things. Coming back to the topic of yoga, yama, niyam, asana, pranayama. In yama, there is something known as aparigraha. Satya, Ahimsa, Aparigraha. That is the third tenet of philosophy that Patanjali has written. Aparigraha means not hoarding too much wealth.
Okay.
If you run after money, you will be harming your body, you will be harming the environment, you will be giving a negative energy to the environment, and that negative energy will bounce back upon you and make you ill.
Right.
So, why is aparigraha important? Aparigraha means not hoarding wealth. This is important because if you hoard wealth, maybe you are competent, maybe you are intelligent, maybe you are qualified, maybe you can have 150 cars like that famous industrialist has. Now he's a husband, wife, 2 children. 4 cars are enough for him. Out of the 160 cars, 156 cars are being denied to people who need them. Right? If you have 5 or 6 houses, you live in only one. The four houses can give shelter to a needy person. This is a spiritualistic way of looking at things.
So you believe that if he does this, he'll be a much happier person and a much healthier person than he is right now.
Right, absolutely. He'll definitely be. These are from India's ancient thought processes, which have been in existence for 3000, 4000 years. They cannot be wrong.
And what would you like? I have noticed a lot of elders, especially the senior citizens who enter their 60s. Like I said, a lot of doctors tell them that you are dealing with blood pressure or diabetes, so you have to take this medicine till you die. Right? So now naturally what happens is these people suffer with an effect that they seem to envision their life dangerous if they don't take that medicine even for a day. Like if they miss that particular medicine for one day, then they start to panic all over. "अरे, मेरे को क्या हो जाएगा? नहीं, I need
This
this
happens.
medicine."
These medicines have an equal and opposite reaction also. They do suppress the disease, they damage other organs also.
Okay.
For instance, there isn't any allopathic medicine which does not have side effects.
Really?
Yeah, and if you're taking them long time, they are bound to damage your liver, they are bound to damage your kidney. That is why once you have started an allopathic medicine, your doctor will tell you to check your liver profile, your kidney profile every 6 months. This is what happens.
So how does one beat it? Or for example, if someone takes homeopathy for one single problem instead of allopathy, then you will treat it once and for all, right? So how do you get that person who's used to allopathy and who's used to having that particular medicine for the past 5 to 10 years? How do you convince that person to start homeopathy and get rid of these chemical based medicines once and for all?
It is by showing him proof of the cases that I've seen. Recently, we had a seminar in a five-star hotel in which we showed cases where cancer was cured, where autoimmune diseases were cured. People see this, and basically, a doctor's practice flourishes only by word of mouth.
Right.
If someone gets cured, he'll go and tell somebody else. Like I told you about that girl, about two girls. One girl whose knee was not working properly, other girl who was contemplating
Depressed, yeah.
suicide. I told you about several. I did a national level seminar in which I showed 5 cases of children, all with motion sickness, who were completely cured. I showed one case of an adult girl. She was around 20 to 23. She came to me from Ahmedabad for getting treatment of motion sickness. After I treated her, she went to USA, where she was married to a person from there, and she went to Disneyland and did all the rides over there without any problems. Now, once she is cured of this, she will tell 10 people, 50 people, out of which some will come to homeopathy.
Yeah. But you didn't answer my earlier question where I asked you how did you manage the finances while practicing homeopathy? Because
See,
I completely got the point where you said that allopathy is a commerce game, and like you said you wouldn't dive deep into it, which I completely understand, and I also understand what exactly you mean when you say it's a commerce game. So how exactly did you manage, or even for the fact that your fellow doctors who practice homeopathy, how do these guys manage with all the finances and all the commerce part of it? Because after all, everyone's chosen it as their profession, right?
See, I never quit allopathy straight away. I kept it along, and I started simultaneously treating with homeopathy. I use homeopathy more for chronic diseases because for acute diseases it may not be affordable for all. That is the only reason. It can treat acute and chronic, believe me. But in my case, I practice in a lower middle class society where people cannot afford 4,500 5,000 rupees for treating common cold. Though it is a better approach. I'll tell you something funny about this. At that when I started practice, I used to charge 30 rupees. This was around 94 or so. And I used to give 3 pudiyas. Okay, one day one lady came to me. She was a regular patient of mine.
3 pudiyas as in?
3 doses of medicine.
Yeah, 3 dosages.
And we are supposed to give that every 15 minutes at bedtime. That more or less takes care of your disease.
And this was homeopathic medicine?
Homeopathic medicine. And actually, 1 dose is also enough. But we make sure we gave 3 doses to make sure that there is nothing in the mouth that will hamper the action. Sometimes, people have it immediately after food, or they have a chewing gum, or they have tobacco, and this hampers the action of the medicine. So we give 3 medicines just to make sure that the first dose acts, a second dose, third dose are the same. There is no difference in that. So this lady came to me with 3 kids, maybe 4 years, 6 years, 8 years. Two of those kids were hers. The third kid was her sister's kid. Okay, they came to me for cough, cold, and all that. They wanted homeopathy. I gave them homeopathy. I charged them 30 rupees as I was doing, and I was just new into this. And all three were coughing. So I said, "You don't want medicines for the other two?" So no, I'll come later. And 4 5 days later, I met her. I asked, "How is your kid?" The kid is fine. Then I asked, "How are the other 2 kids?" They are also fine. I said, "How come?" She said, I gave 1 pudia to each child. All three became okay.
And you didn't recommend her that way?
No, I didn't, because after all, I am also a practicing doctor, and I have to take, if I treat 3 people, I have to take from 3 people. They have to give me 90 rupees, 30 rupees per patient. She was very clever. She did this, and all three became okay.
But did they become ethically okay, or was it just a fluke?
No, it might be. See, what happens is, in homeopathy, we treat the mind. If your mind is in the same zone and the same complaints, then the medicine can work for all three. Otherwise, it will not. It worked over there because maybe all the 3 children were having the same problems.
But when you used to charge 30 rupees for an homeopathic dosage, what were the charges for allopathy?
There are 50 rupees. 50 rupees.
50?
Yeah,
So
because I was starting starting with homeopathy at that time.
Okay.
I was not very knowledgeable.
So allopathy was your main vehicle till then?
Yeah.
Right. So what I realize is basically all the big companies, all the big pharma companies, that it's better not to name them, but these guys are pushing the agenda that allopathy is more effective to keep the whole cycle running.
Yeah, I'll add to that. What happens is, every 5 years or 6 years or 10 years, they tell you that the previous medicine is useless. The new medicine is much better because the previous medicine has lost its patent, and it has to be sold at a very cheap price. So they'll just tweak that medicine or bring a similar molecule or a slightly similar molecule, which will be costing 10 times. Suppose this is 60 rupees per strip of 10, that will be costing 600 or 6,000 because of the intellectual property rights. That medicine has been researched by them, they can charge a bomb for it. And then they'll tell you that the previous medicine that you are taking is so harmful that it can damage your kidneys, it can give you a brain stroke, it can give you a heart attack. So there is a morbid fear of taking those medicine, and you shift to the newer medicine, which again becomes obsolete after another 5-10 years. This is how these things work. I am a member of Indian Medical Association. I have fought on this point several times, and this is the absolute truth.
And were you ever supported by anyone?
I was because there are people in the Indian Medical Association who are truthful and honest, and they tell you that I have been treated by homeopath and I am fine.
But what was the result? You were let down?
No, I was not let down. Why should I be let down?
Nee,
I can give.
outcome wise.
Yeah, They kept quiet, man. I can give proof even now. I have myself hundreds of cases. My association has millions of cases. We can show you cases where a patient with cancer was told to go back home and told you have got 2 3 days to live. You live on palliative therapy, and that patient has survived for 2 years.
After that, he passed away.
See, that is passing away is an eventuality which you cannot escape. It is going to happen. But this is one more facet of homeopathy which I'll tell you about. Homeopathy can give you a peaceful passage. People who are terminally ill, and if they are given homeopathy, people who are terminally ill and given allopathy, they are in pain, they are in misery, they have got needles poking all over the place, they have got catheters poking all over the place, and they are not, they are weeping, grieving in miserable conditions. But if you give homeopathy to the same person, I can show you proof that that person called his family, they had an enjoyable dinner, he went to sleep and passed away. Death is an eventuality which you cannot escape. Homeopathy can make this pleasant.
So before you got aware, before you became aware of all of this, especially the homeopathy route and how it is how it is the most fulfilling way of leading a practicing medicine and also consuming medicine, were there any unethical practices that you unknowingly did because you were unaware about homeopathy?
See, when I was not aware of homeopathy, I gave allopathy. It's as simple as that. There is nothing wrong with giving allopathy. There is nothing unethical about it.
Okay.
You can give allopathy to anybody. I am a qualified allopathic practitioner. I can give it. There is no issue about that.
And what is the qualification needed for allopathy and homeopathy?
No, there is no such qualification in place.
Neat wise.
You cannot do both courses together.
Okay.
What I do is I keep a BHMS doctor in my clinic to make things ethical, that's all. And legal.
What I'm trying to ask is, if I'm pursuing medicine, if I want to pursue medicine, I'm supposed to give NEET exams, right? So what is the cutoff required for allopathy and what is the cutoff required for homeopathy?
Homeopathy is much less. After allopathy, people go for Ayurveda, they go for dentistry, then they go for homeopathy because they are not aware.
So that means the whole system that has been designed even around education is forcing the students to strive for better results so that they can practice allopathy, so that more allopathic doctors are passed out.
See, the allopathy will give you more money. Allopathy will give you a mark, it will give you trips to foreign countries every now and then. Homeopathy cannot give you that, but it can give you a satisfaction. It can give you a peaceful night's rest. It can also give you foreign trips and all that, but it will take a little more time. And with what I am doing at the moment, I am teaching people homeopathy. I'll tell you right now, 9 of my colleagues are in Spain presenting a paper on chronic disease in Spain. They are there right now at the moment. And the 10th person who is there with them is a lady who is one of our students. It took us a long time. People who are learning from us, they can do it very fast. We took the staircase to success. They will be provided with an elevator.
Right. So you laid the foundation and now they are taking it further. And final question for you, what are the tips that you would give to a normal human being to increase their overall immunity in terms of physical immunity, mental immunity?
I have answered that question. Exercise, eat proper food, maintain
timing.
Can
you be more specific when you say eat proper food?
Proper food means have a balanced diet, have proteins, carbohydrates, vitamins, fruits, adequate intake of water, exercise, say 40 minutes a day, at least 6 days a week, and sleep at regular times.
And if someone is not suffering with any kind of disease in the moment, then should they practice homeopathy? Should they
If you are
consult a
not
homeopathic?
ill, why should you go to a doctor? But it doesn't happen. Even with doctors, everybody has some niggle or the other, because this is easily said. To conquer anger, to forgive, to have gratitude, difficult to practice.
Yeah.
If you practice yoga like Patanjali did, you can do it. If you practice spirituality like Tukaram did, you can do it. But these are once in a decade, once in say 100 years or 200 years type of people. Now people like Tukaram, who have said that you meditate to the extent that बाम सव्य दोन्हीकडे दिसे देवाचे रूपडे खाली पाहे अथवा वरी जिकडे पाहे तिकडे हरी डोळे झाकोनी पाहे पुढे गोपाळ उभा आहे. That is the objective of life.
Right.
Okay.
And final one, if someone wants to get started with yoga, what are your tips for someone like who's planning to start with yoga? What are the three
I'll tell him
asanas?
go to BK Mill compound, join Sri Ambika Yoga Kutir. It's simple.
But if someone is watching us online from Delhi or someone like that, what are the top 3 asanas that you would recommend?
No, yoga cannot be done that way.
Achha.
Yoga is not about asanas. Yoga is a way of life. You have to, that is what is happening nowadays. People are teaching, coming to your house, taking 6,000 rupees, teaching you the asanas. Asanas will not keep you away from anger.
It's just physical.
It is just physical. This is the perfect way that I know. There are places in Bihar also where they teach you good yoga. I don't know about Delhi and all. And homeopathy is, of course, we are teaching homeopathy.
Yeah.
Hanimanian Homeophorum headquartered at Thane, and Hanimanian Homeophorum Academy and Research Institute headquarters in Nashik. We have got courses, online courses, which are starting in another 15 days.
Okay.
If any homeopath is listening to that podcast, his life will change if he attends those courses.
Amazing.
I told you just now about the girl who has traveled with us to Spain. She has gone with her own expense. We as an institute don't have the kind of money to send a person to Spain to popularize homeopathy. We all spend money from our own pockets. And they are there for about 7-8 days. It will have cost them a bomb, I am telling you. And they are going there because they have earned the money from homeopathy.
Right. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, doctor. It was great having a conversation with you. And definitely we'll keep this thing in mind about learning yoga, learning about homeopathy, and leading a much more happier and healthier life.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
There are usually 2 types of people in this world. The ones who look at everything they are told as Gyan, and the other ones who listen to everything they are told carefully, filter it out, and use whatever is useful as a catalyst in their growth journey. The perspective really matters, and you have to ask yourself, which one are you? If you believe you are in the second one, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because each and every video on this channel will help you grow. See you in the next video.